everyone, and welcome to this week's Moody Talk. This is our third talk for the month, and this month's emotion we are focusing on shame. So last week we talked about the difference between shame and toxic shame, which I think is extremely important for people to understand. So if you haven't seen that Moody Talk yet, I suggest going back and listening in. Really important for us as human beings, and especially adults, if we're in contact with children, knowing the difference between shame in its function and what toxic shame is. So I highly suggest going back, taking a look. Before that, we did what I do every month with the new emotion, and we talk about body sensations and the language we use when we're talking about shame, and the intensity that the feeling is, and how we understand our own emotion, and we understand the language we use for ourselves. So this week, I'm going to bring out a great DBT skill. It's a part of what they call overall is mindfulness. And I find this one really important because I don't know about you guys, but I tend to obsess about shameful things that may have happened in the past, and why they happened, or that kind of thing. And am I a bad person because I do deal with toxic shame? So I can obsess about certain situations, and that's not helpful. It's rather harmful if you continue to obsess over something, especially if it's already, you've already come to a conclusion with it, that, you had something happen and you had to, come to terms with it. You had to apologize. You had to do that kind of thing. So holding on to that shame is not healthy. It's not helpful, and can cause a lot of harm to you if you're constantly obsessing about one situation that's already been concluded in a safe and good manner. Okay, so what we're talking about today is practicing non-judgmentalness. I know that this can sound really, really hard, and it is hard. We judge ourselves, we judge others without even thinking. We may get that from how we grew up, or a certain person in our lives who is particularly judgmental. And so I think that a lot of people may think, well, I'm just so judgmental. I don't know how I could possibly think in this non-judgmental way about things. But that's why I'm here to help, right? So we're going to go into practicing non-judgmentalness for shame. Okay, so these are a couple of different ways that you can do it. They do actually work well if you do them all like in a row that way, but you can also jump around if one works better for you. But I'm going to go through all of them. Okay, so my first one here is practice observing your thoughts. Okay, so sit with the feeling of the shame that you have and form a full idea of what your thoughts are. What exactly is the reason for the shame? So this is maybe reviewing the event, which we get into as well. But thinking back, if you're feeling that shame in the moment, is sitting with that and being like, well, why did it come up? Why am I suddenly thinking about something that may already have been concluded? I've apologized, or I did something to help the situation, and now it's all over. Why am I still thinking of it? Well, getting a clear idea of the feeling that you're sitting with, the particular intensity of the shame, can be really, really good for you to then move on and figure out, what happened in the event and what we can do, to, be more conscientious of what actually happened instead of just sitting in emotion. Okay? So replacing judgment with non-judgment. That's what this whole thing is about, yes. But in particular, you want to state the facts. So you want to describe the facts of what happened in that event, and doing that not in your, sitting in your shame doing it, but saying, okay, this is what actually happened in that very moment. You step away and maybe look at it like a third party and be like, okay, so this happened, and then this happened, and then this happened, right? Describe the consequences. So this can be hard. This can be that admitting that you had to come to terms with what was done. Maybe you did something that you didn't realize you were doing, and that's all part of what happens with shame, is that sometimes we don't realize we're doing something that can be harmful to someone. Okay, and then describe your feelings in response to the facts. So this is getting all the facts down and then reading it back in emotion mind, which means that you are allowing yourself then to feel what you were feeling when these events happened, okay, and how you see it now, and what emotions pop up for you now, having read a clear and concise third party type of reminder of the event. Okay, observe your body language and tone. So this means check out your facial expressions, postures, and voice tone, including internal tone. And here is my little kitten. This is Raven. She decided to join us. So that's really important, is voice tone, because if you're getting that judgy voice in your head, then it's not going to work for you. You need to see what's happening in the moment and your body expression. Maybe you're slumping because you're feeling that shame, so you're kind of like bent over and feeling badly about what happened. And your expressions on your face, maybe they're a little like angry, or they seem kind of really sad, right? So noticing those things is really important. What do you notice? What does your face do when you're feeling shame? What does your voice sound like? What's the internal voice that you have, right? And then you want to change your body language and tone. So this is being, affecting yourself and giving yourself a new way of climbing out of that shameful feeling. Well, if your face is kind of scrunched up and looks a little angry, maybe softening it, right? Softening it and softening your eyes a bit and just focusing on a softness that you may be seeing or you're feeling in your face, letting go of that tension in your jaw or in your shoulders. If they're up high like this, you need to change that so you can bring down and come into a more positive feeling about yourself. This is the thing. It's about feeling more positive about yourself after something like this has happened. You feel that shame, you feel badly that it happened, but obsessing over it and feeling it in your body and in your voice and your internal voice isn't going to help you to come out of it and live your life, right? Okay. So that's, change it up, try using more sympathetic tones and more confident body postures. So instead of the slumping, sitting up straight, keeping your head held up instead of down. Like if you're slumping and you have your head down, keeping your head up and straight and looking forward. And again, softening the look on your face, right? And then also softening the tone in your voice. Instead of having it sound aggravated, maybe talk a little bit more in like if you were feeling like you were in a peaceful moment in time, and speak nicely to yourself, right? And then finally, write out a non-judgmental description of the event that caused the shame. So it kind of comes back to here, but this is like you write it down. You've been obsessing about this for a while. You're actually writing the event down, putting it on paper, and making it up like a final statement, right? Write a blow-by-blow account of the event, but leave out descriptive words for shame. Imagine you are talking to a loved one. And I get this a lot with people because I can be very empathetic to other people. Most of the time, I'm very, very empathetic to people. I'm very compassionate. But for myself, no. I don't do that for myself. And it's ridiculous, right? We should be able to turn that compassion inward. And as I had said last week, I have just joined a therapeutic group that focuses on compassion-based therapy. So I'm learning this in real time, and hopefully I'll be able to, bring that wisdom to more of our Moody Talks. But that's really what it comes down to, is that we give ourselves the compassion that we usually give to others. Like, I know I would never, say something mean when we're talking about something that maybe my son did. And yes, we talked about it and we got through it. There was a conclusion to it, and now, talking about it because maybe it was brought up again by them, but you want to talk compassionately to them so that you're telling them, hey, we've finished this. This is all done. There's no need to obsess over it. You're a good person. This happened and we figured it out. So talk like that to yourself, right? Really, really, really hard. I get told by my therapist so often, well, how would you say this to your son or to your best friend? And I definitely wouldn't be talking harshly to them, right? Because that's just not who I am, and I want them to feel better about themselves. So that's what we need to actually do for ourselves. Difficult, but practicing that is probably the more important thing. Practicing the compassion for yourself. This shame comes up, the event came up. Okay, well, you do that blow-by-blow description so that you can read it and say, so this happened, and then this person reacted this way, and then I reacted this way, and in the end, I said I was sorry, or I made up for it in some way. It's over now. We're okay. We're still friends. We're having good conversations as family. And so I think that that's probably one of our more important parts of the non-judgmentalness, is bringing that compassion in for yourself. You don't have to be like, yeah, I shouldn't have been in shame at all. I had every right to do and say and whatever. If you're feeling that shame, it's real. And it's time to let it go so that you can move forward. You'll always remember what happened in that moment, and it'll be triggered when you have something come up again so that you remember, this happened, I did this, I felt this shame, but that's over, and I'm going to use that in this event to stop myself from having another shame spiral, right? So that is practicing non-judgmentalness for shame. And this worksheet will be up on my site, My Moody Monster, under the Moody Talks. And as always, if you have any questions, you want to ask me, you want to have a discussion, please put comments down below, and I will get back to you most definitely. If there's anything that you want to listen to, something you want more of, please also let me know, because I would love to give you the content that you really are looking for in the moment. So have a great rest of your week, and I will see you guys next week for our final Moody Talk on shame. Have a great week. Bye.